Record. Recording. Okay, good. Friday, November 20th. Okay, so we're just going to finish up. We just have a couple slides from the from our yesterday's class. Okay. You guys can hear me, right? Okay. Colin, adjusting the audio on the computer here. All right. Well, we're just going to start now, and it is going to be posted on YouTube anyways. All right. Okay. Switches, buttons. Yeah. All right. So this was the last slide that we stopped on yesterday. This was about the confined space. Now we're going to go to the next slide. There are some Ontario regulations. 632.05, confined spaces requirements. Before any worker enters a confined space or begins related work with respect to confined space, the lead employer or in the case of a project, well, the lead employer or in the case of a project, the constructor shall prepare a coordination document to ensure that the duties imposed on employers by section 5 to 7, 9 to 12, and 14 to 20 are performed in a way that protects the health and safety of all workers who perform work in the confined space or related work with respect to confined space. And there's some regulation numbers. I'm not going to ask you to remember those. I just want you to know that there's a strict procedure if work needs to be done in confined space. So it's not just, yeah, can we do this now? Yeah, let's go, and then we'll go for lunch. It doesn't work that way. There are strict rules and regulations and procedures that have to be followed when it comes to working with in confined space. All right. Onto another regulation, confined space. If workplace place includes confined space that workers might enter to perform work, the employer shall ensure that written program for confined space is developed and maintained in accordance with the regulations before worker enters confined space. More regulations, applicable standards. The responsibilities of employers. The employer is responsible for providing atmospheric testing equipment. So there are some duties that apply to employers. There are some duties that apply to you if you are the worker or any worker that needs to go and work within the confined space. So these are just examples. I'm not here to make you expert on confined space, and by no means you're going to have rights to perform work or prepare the documentation. Of course, if you get new jobs, you will be trained on the job as far as the safety, health and safety regulations. So it's just not just something that should be taken easily. I just want you to know that things like that do exist. Nobody is going to ask you to perform a document on your first day of job, or even probably not even the first year of your job. The rules are going to be given to you by the employer, and so on. So I saw one assignment in submission folder called three-way switch. There is that. Yes, we're going to get to this right after this. Okay. Always remember, test the atmosphere prior to the entry, and so there's a review of the whole thing. So always remember, test the atmosphere prior to entry and periodically never enter the space in atmospheric if the atmospheric conditions are not suitable. These are the obvious. Ensure that attendant is outside of the confined space at all times. Follow the company's confined space permit. So you know, the rules, conventions, and regulations are going to you know, may change from year to year. I don't know when is it that you actually are watching this video that I'm talking about the future from now. We're doing this live, but I'll keep this video on the YouTube for some time. Just remember that there are some strict rules that apply, and you know, 3 years from now, some of the regulations might be updated, so you should be familiar or just be aware that there are strict rules and regulations that apply to working with confined space. Okay, that's the end of the presentation. So there's just a few slides that we had to go on. Now here is the assignment. I'm giving you an assignment, and you have a week to complete that. It is going to be quite well. It should be quite simple. However, don't take it lightly. I'm just going to hang on. I'm going to switch my my computer onto the assignment. To the assignment page. So the assignment is going to be, we're going to draw 3 situations with the 3-way switch. One is going to be with the light fixture at the beginning of the run. The other one is going to be a light fixture, sorry, at the end of the run, and at the beginning of the run, and in the middle of the run. So there are going to be three situations here. Now, the first situation, the first scenario, I have it for you. So once you download that PDF file, the assignment, it's going to be explained to you, but we're going to go over that anyway right now. So here is what the document looks like. Here's a safety 1051-20 fall assignment, and it's called a 3-way switch. Okay, so let me just see if I can zoom in a little bit. So you can see it slightly better. However, you're going to have to download this thing and read it on your own as well. But we're just going to go over those points. So the due date is a week from now, which is going to be Friday, November 27th. Okay. Now here is the here are the rules. You are to present 3 scenarios. One is the light fixture at the end of the run, which is figure 1, which is this one right here. Okay. And then light fixture in the middle of the run. So you're going to rearrange that. This thing here is going to have to be moved right to here. And then a light fixture at the start of the run or at the beginning of the run. Okay, so these are the 3 scenarios. Figure 1 represents the first scenario. You may copy this arrangement and use it as your own as the first of the 3 drawings. So that's going to be the first scenario. You can copy that. The only thing is that I need you to do this by hand, and things have to be nice and neat. Okay, the neatness is going to be marked as well. Figure 1. Okay, so the other, do you want us to draw it? No, no, we're not going to do the pigtails. This is going to be a concept diagram. So I don't want you to, if you really want to, you can, but that's going to be some extra work, and I'm not going to give you additional marks for it. However, if you want, you can, and I'm not going to deduct marks. I'm not going to deduct marks if you draw the pigtails. All right. Let's just keep going. The other 2 scenarios must be presented in the same way with the components rearranged accordingly. And I just actually put that thing in red. All work must be done by hand. The reason why I want you to do this by hand is that you actually get more engagement while you're doing this. And so the idea is so you get full understanding on how to do this. If you do this thing on the using computer graphics, I find that you're not learning as much. So so that's the reason why I want you to do this thing by hand. If you don't do this by hand, you're going to get marks deducted. Okay. Notice I just said that with a smile. I still love you, but I'm still going to get deduct marks for you if you don't do this according to the rules. Here's my smile. Okay, there you go. Now, each scenario must include a label. See figure 1, top corner. Let's see here. All right, so here's the label right here. Okay. Here's the scenario. There's a three-way switch system, and it shows light fixture at the end of the run. Okay, let's keep going. So each scenario must include the label. See figure 1, top left corner. All three components, switch 1, switch 2, and the light fixture must be clearly drawn. And all three components must be labeled. See figure 1. So we were here at 0.6. So let's see here again. All components, switch 1, switch 2, and light fixture must be clearly drawn, just like that here. See, here's a switch 1, clearly drawn. The common and the travelers are labeled, and there's a dotted line around it, suggesting that this is a box. Okay, and there's a label that says switch 1. Okay. Now we keep going. Another switch 2, clearly drawn, labeled, dotted line indicating that this is a box, and a light fixture also drawn here. Here's the symbol for the light bulb, and it is labeled as a light fixture. Okay. We finished at 6, so we'll just go back to 6 here. Zoom in a little bit. Let's just keep going here. Now, switches terminals must be labeled, common and travelers. So just as I showed you, common, traveler labeled on the switch. All device boxes must be indicated with the dotted line. Runs between the boxes must be embraced with a conduit markers. The conduit markers must be labeled 1/2" EMT, indicating the type of the conduit. See example figure 1. So here it is. These are the wires that run here. Okay, and here is the little elliptical signature showing that this is a conduit, and there's an indicator drawn from that showing that this is a 1/2" EMT. So there's no confusion, no questions. Nobody has to ask you any questions. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so we stopped here. We're going to go to 11 now. The ground wire must be presented in the same way as it is drawn and labeled in figure 1. It is just enough when the power is being supplied, just draw this kind of stuff here, this thing, and that's going to be ground or bond connected to the first device box. Indicate this. Okay. All conduits. Top of the first page, place the following. Write this here. Here's a safety 1051-20F assignment, three-way switch, and put your name. Don't write your name, just put your name. I don't think I have to explain that. If you write exactly your name, you're going to get points deducted, obviously. All right, just write your name. I don't even know how to explain this thing more. Now, then we're going to scan or photograph using your cell phone, your final work. Is this going to be posted on FO? Yes, it is actually this document that I'm presenting to you right now. it is posted already, and it's going to be available for you for download in about 45 minutes. I have time triggered that, so it's going to be available at the end of the lesson. All right, now save this page in PDF format, upload the PDF file into FOL assignment submission box, and I'll show you how to do that. All boxes, now here's the last part here. All boxes must contain a neutral wire, regardless whether it's needed or not for the operation of the circuit. Here's the idea. Over here, here's the thing. All boxes must include neutral wire, whether you need it or not for the operation of the circuit. That's the rules. Okay. So in this box, do we have white neutral wire? Yes, we do. In this box, do we have white neutral wire? Yes, we do. In this box, do we have white neutral wire? Yes, we do. If for some reason at some point and you're going to have situations that the white wire doesn't go through that box, well, you're going to have to indicate that you have run that wire from where the power is being supplied, and it goes through the box, and just draw it there, ending there. Usually what that would be, you would just put a wire nut connector just to blind it, and it just has to be there. White wire, neutral wire has to be in all the boxes. But you do this thing after you complete the whole working concept diagram, and then at the end you're going to verify, does this box contain white wire? Does this box contain white wire? Does this box contain white wire? If not, you have to run it, and it's going to be additional wire in the conduits as well. So that's the assignment here. Now I'm just going to show you now. Switch the camera views here. Yeah. So this is how your assignment is going to look like. One page. You can have a clear page, or a graph paper, or just the lines. That's fine, as long as you do the nice straight lines to ruler. Right? So over here, we're going to include the title page, the title. So here is the safety 1051-20F three-way switch system, and over here you're going to put your name. Okay? And here is the first scenario, here's the second scenario, here's the third scenario. All drawings, they're going to fit on one page. We don't need to use multiple pages for this. I suggest maybe you use pencil so you can erase things as you go along if you make any mistakes. So over here you're going to have the first things. I'm just making smidge marks here. Here's the second, and here's the third. We're going to have the drawings done as such. So here is the light fixture at the end of the run. So draw that. You can just copy the first scenario that is there. Use this as an example. Draw it by hand. That's the simplest one. Then you're going to have the light fixture in the middle of the run, and draw that. So obviously, if you have here, if you have power being supplied, then at the end of the run, so obviously you're going to have switch number 1, switch number 2, and you're going to have the light fixture. Okay, of course that's the dotted line, not a solid line here. And then you're going to draw the switches here, label them, draw the lines, indicate the conduits, write them down, and you're going to have switch 1, switch 2, and there's going to be light fixture. Okay, make it nice and neat. Okay, now the second one, you're going to have light fixture in the middle of the run, so obviously that's going to be switch 1, and then it's going to be light fixture, and then there is going to be switch 2. Okay, how are we going to do this? Everything runs through the boxes, so you might want to either put those switches maybe towards the top and the devices towards the top here, and there's another switch here, and then of course you're going to supply the power, always supply the power from here, okay? So you're just rearranging the switches or the devices. Power must be at left hand, yes, yeah. So that's the power comes here. You're just rearranging the devices here. So now, remember when we established the sequence of doing things. So first we would just connect the travelers. So you would just connect the travelers, run the wires through the boxes. Okay, so if there's traveler needs to be connected to this traveler, of course it's going to run through this box. Okay. Then you're going to go common to load. So you're going to have maybe this common goes to the load, then load to neutral, and load goes right back to neutral, and then the hot is going to be going to go to common, so hot is going to go to this common. If you do this and verify different situations, if you close the switch, open the switches, it should work the same way. Right? Same thing at the last part. Let's just practice the last one here. What's the last one here? Fixture at the beginning of the run. Light fixture at the beginning of the run. Okay. Just going to. Now I'm drawing this thing with a pen. So so here's the power, and of course that's going to be the ground. Okay. So light fixture at the beginning of the run. So of course we're going to have a box. All right, indicating that there's a light fixture. Okay. Then, so that's in the beginning. And of course, we're going to have two switches. Here's switch 1, and here's switch 2. Okay. So we can just go something like, I'm just going to go like this. So it's going to be traveler, traveler, common, traveler, traveler, common. Yes, neutral wire has to be present in every box. Yeah. Now, so let's just, so we have established those devices. So there's going to be light fixture, right? And here's the switch 1, switch 2. I'm just doing this thing as scratch marks. You're going to do this thing nice to the ruler, beautiful and neat, okay? Now, so let's go here. Connect the travelers, right? Well, how are we going to connect the travelers? Here is a line goes, we're going to connect the travelers together. Right? So the travelers are connected. Okay, now common to load. So from here, we're just going to draw common, and it's going to go through this box, and it's going to go to the load. Okay. What else? Load to neutral. So the other load is going to go to the neutral. So we're going to label this thing as neutral here. The load goes to neutral. So it goes from the box right here. Of course, that has to be done nice and straight. Okay? And then hot to common. So this one is going to be hot. So it's going to go to hot to other common. So here's that. We're going to draw right from here. And we're going to turn and jump over, and connect that to common. So that's going to be the working diagram of the switch. Of course, this is going to be the pole here. And you can run, let's say this in this configuration, let's see, so it's going to be hot. Okay. And then you're going to write hot, black, and this, let's say, it's going to be the ground. Okay. So let's say if this way it's going to the light switch is going to work, the switch system is going to work. When the poles are arranged this way, the electricity travels from hot and goes to the first pole of the switch, okay, common, and then from here it's connected to that, to the traveler. Traveler is connected to the other traveler, goes here, and it comes back. Comes back on neutral, and it goes to the light bulb. Okay. Now, if we switch this that way here, not that way, so of course the power goes from here to here to here and to here, and that's going to stop. So of course that is going to be, the light bulb is going to be off. If we move this pole here, of course we're going to make this thing on, turn the light bulb on. All right, now last thing, verify if if every box has a neutral. Okay, this one has a neutral, this one doesn't have the neutral, and this one doesn't have the neutral. Okay, so we're just going to make a connection here, jump over, and just draw it like that. Okay. And then we're going to indicate conduits. All right. 1/2 inch EMT, 1/2 inch EMT. Okay, and of course the wires, you're going to indicate the colors of the wires here. All right, so so obviously the neutral is going to be white. Okay, there's going to be black. Also, this is going to be white. This is also going to be well, that's not going to be black. Over here you can use red and blue. Okay. And over here you could use red, because this is not going to be white. This is going to be not neutral. So you can put red here, or you can put blue here. So you can also put red here, or you can put other colors. So because this is going to be switched hot. Okay, so indicate the colors of the wires. If we have hot, sorry, yeah, I'm just looking at the chart lines here. Neutral wire has to be present in every box. In case of the neutral, in this case, is neutral present? Yeah, okay, we just went over that. If we have hot running to the far box, the common closet, the light bulb to the light, is that okay too? Let me just see. If we have the hot running to the last box, common closest to the light connected. I'm not sure if I understand the question here. All right, can you rearrange the question here? Like rephrase it? Running power to the far switch, okay. So the middle. Well, if you have a hot, then it has to be black, okay. Okay, why don't you send me an email and draw it in a piece of paper, the common of the middle switch connected to the light. All right, Quentin, send me an email, draw it out, send me an email, and I'll answer a question, because I'm just trying to visualize this thing here. See, this is why face-to-face class would be much better. But are we going to have any of those run like that? Probably not in our situations, Common of the middle of the switch connected to the light. The common of the middle switch connected to the light. Yeah, so here's the common of the middle switch. Oh, I see here. So if you switch these two, is that what you're asking me? The hot wire went to the middle box. I think he is wondering if you can bring it to the last box. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can bring it to the last box. You might end up with more wires in the conduits, but sometimes it's just the way it is, depending on the situation, depending on how the building is wired. Okay. So yes, you can bring it to the last box. If that was the question. If not, just draw it out for me. Just draw it out for me, and we'll analyze this thing. Cool. All right. So, so that's going to be the assignment. I want you. Okay. Another thing I'm going to ask you to do is, let's just get the convention here. When we cross the wires, now the conventions might change and the rules might change of how to, depending, sometimes the rules of how to draw things might change from company to company slightly, okay? Let's say there are wires that are crossing each other. Okay? In some, like this, there's a wire and there's a wire, they cross each other. In some cases, that would be considered a connection. But let's say in our case, if there is a connection, just draw a dot here. Right? That means these wires are connected. If these wires are not connected, then just draw a little kind of a jump over hoop. That means these wires are not connected. The reason why I'm asking you to do this is just get into the habit of communicating clearly. If somebody doesn't specify how you want these things to be done, just do it that way. So these are wires, there's a connection here, there's no connection here, all right? If you draw it like that, some people might ask you, do you mean that these wires are connected or they are not connected? If you eliminate that scenario here and concentrate on these two, there's no questions. There are no questions. There's no confusion whatsoever whether these wires are connected or not. The other, just use the colored pens. We still need to indicate colored. Yes, because sometimes when you present the drawings, actually, you know what? That's a good question. Yes, indicate the colors. The reason is that when people present the drawings or copy using photocopier and things like that, the colors are going to be missing. So just indicate everything that needs to be indicated. Also, these two ways that I'm showing you. See, sometimes you get a drawing that is reduced in size for people to go and do the work. And some copies are better than others. Sometimes you get coffee stains, otherwise smidges on the drawings as you go along. If you clearly indicate what you mean, then you get less confusion when it happens to actually connecting things. And always make sure if you're not sure, you might want to contact somebody who gave you those drawings, just in case you're going to make a bad connection. There was once I saw some drawings wrongly done, and it was with some high-powered switch. It was that drawing had to do with connecting a hot tub. So there's some high-powered wires going there, and it was on the drawing that was included in the switch. There was actually a wrong connection. So always make sure when you're connecting things, run the circuit over your head to see if it actually makes sense. If you're unsure of something, or if you think then that the connection could be wrong, stop right there, analyze it, and call the manufacturer or whatever the support line. What do you mean? Why is this? Maybe is that a mistake? If I connected that hot tub that was years ago, the way it was drawn on the supporting documentation, we would have probably something that we call an arc flash, which is our next class. Right? And you don't want arc flash, especially in front of your face. All right. So as far as the assignment, are we clear on things, or are there any questions? Yeah. As far as that. Someone made a comment about there are people among us that have problems seeing colors. It's a condition, very, very common, actually, more common than we might think. One of my dearest friends, the person is colorblind, and that's okay. There's some of us can see things better. Some of us can hear things better. Not everyone can do the same thing. All right. Are there any questions about the assignment that we have done, that we just went over? It should be all explained in this document, which is available for you for download. You should have, again, you should have 3 scenarios here. I'm getting my switching system flashing. All right, you should have 3 scenarios. Get the headline here, label every situation, do the drawing, okay, and just verify that you have done everything that you need to do. Now, let's just see if we can we can go over the rubric here. So I'm just going to make myself view as a student. Do you always want the switches arranged so the light is on? No, the 3-way switch works kind of both ways. It can open and close either way, one way or the other. The system has to function properly. So obviously, if I switch one way or the other, then I should be able to present different situations. See, I'm doing 2 things at the same time, right? Just like the chameleon has the eyes, so I'm doing. So it has to function that I should be able to operate both switches and make the 3-way switch functional. All right, so I'm going to make myself a student here. Okay, so here is our class portal. If you go to evaluations, and then you go to submissions, and you see that here's a submission box. So you're going to click on that. And once you click on that, the rubric is going to appear. You can go and see the rubric, everything explained. So there is no confusion here. And over here, you see something that's called an add file. If I go mouse over that, you can add file. So you click on that, and you can find your file in your computer. Select that, and after you select that, I'm just going to cancel that here. You press submit. Yeah. Now, here's the rubric. See if we can go over that. All right, deadline. Not missing deadline is worth 7 points. That's a lot here, right? So you get 7 points for submitting this thing on time, which is a week from now, Friday, 11:59 p.m. Right? If you have a late submission, automatically you lose those 7 points. Neutral wire. That's worth 6 points of this whole thing. And you get all or nothing. So neutral wire present in every box. That means in all 3 situations, all 3 scenarios. Or if there is a neutral wire missing in any of the boxes of the whole work, then automatically you get 6 points deducted. All right, here's a big one, okay? I call this thing visual hygiene. What did I write here? The assignment must be clean of stains or eraser or other smudge marks, bent or torn corners, and free of signs of physical damage of paper fatigue. Practice being professional in your work. Don't hand me something that was chewed up by a dog and spat out. The question, if you present your work, the question for you to ask yourself is, if somebody gave me this, would I pay for it? Okay, that's so that's the same thing. If you give a work, if some sort of work that looks like that looks bad, right, then of course you're not going to get paid for it, and you're not going to have a good reputation, and you might not actually keep the job. Right? So make things nice and clean. All right. Hand draw assignment. That's worth 5 points out of 70. So assignment must be hand drawn, no computer graphics. And the reason I explained to you in the beginning of the assignment explanation, I want you to get involved in that, and I want you to get your brain connected to your hands, and that's how you learn the best. Right? Later on, when you do, you're going to use AutoCAD or SolidWorks or whatnot, you design systems, but for this assignment, do it by hand. That's how we learn. Page header must be present, and that's this one here. Right here. That's the page header. Ruler straight. Conductors. All connecting lines must be ruler straight. No hand straight. Not hand straight. Lines must be clearly visible. You're practicing doing electrical drawings. You can't have any confusion whether there's a line here or not, or was this a line but it was erased but not quite. Is there a line or not? Make things clear and understandable. All right, now diagram labels. Diagram labels on the top left corner of each diagram must be present, and this is let's see here. If we have it, all right, I'm going to use this one. So here, light fixture at the end of the run. Here is the situation. Here's another situation, light fixture in the middle of the run, and so on. Right. Nice, clearly labeled. Device boxes. All device boxes must be indicated with a dotted line. See figure 1. Where's our figure 1? Here. Here it is. Okay. All boxes must be indicated with dotted line. And over here, you can see 3-way switch light fixture at the end of the run right here. So that's the diagram here. You do not need to frame it, but you need to indicate that this is what you're drawing. Devices. All devices must be drawn clearly. Connection terminals indicated with the visible circle. Just like that. Device is drawn clearly. Device terminals, visible circle here. And they have to be labeled. Okay, switch 1, switch 2. And we're losing. Yeah. And here's a light fixture. Okay. Conduits. All conduits between the device boxes must be identified exactly as on figure 1. All conductors must be embraced by elliptical marker, including a conduit which would indicating a conduit would lead towards the conduit identifier. Here is the conduit marker with elliptical marker. Here's the lead, and it indicates what it is. That's what we want. Conduit labels. Our conduit must be identified with the black, white, or hot. So conductors labels. So label the wires. Here's black, here's white. You can use the 3-letter labels. Hot, hot, white, black, white. And here's the ground connected to the first device box. And why is it that we are able to just connect the ground or bond to the first box? Because we are using EMT and we're in Canada. And it is permissible to just connect the ground or bond to the first box. Okay. Because it's an EMT, electrical metallic tubing. It's made of metal. Connect the ground to the first box. The ground is carried through the metal tubing to the next box and to the next box and the next box. All right. Where are we? Oh, here. Oh, yeah. Okay, crossings. And that's what I showed you about the wire crossings. When crossing lines connect, indicate connection with a thick visible dot. Lines crossing with no connection must be indicated with a jump over loop or a hoop. Okay. Ground or bond conductor, bottom left corner of each diagram indicated, which is basically we want to see this. All right, that's what we want to see right here. And last but not least, functionality. All right, things have to work. So functionality, all 3 diagrams will function correctly if wired as drawn. So it has to be those drawings, those systems, they have to be functional, they have to work. So that's worth 15 points, right? So then you get 5 points for every drawing. If it doesn't work, you get 5 points less. So 10 points for 2 out of 3 diagrams, correct? 5 points if 1 out of 3, and of course you get 0 points for that one if none of your circuits are going to work correctly or function correctly. Okay, all right. So that's this explanation for the assignment. I'm sure if you're going to you might have some questions, send me an email. I might answer the emails directly on one-on-one cases, or if I have more than one person asking the same questions, I might post the question or the answer to everybody, because it could be a common question. You have a week to do this. Do not do this one day before the time runs, because you might actually run into some questions that need to be cleared for you, and you're not going to have time. Who knows if I'll be able to receive the email on time for you to draw this thing properly. So start now, get this thing over with, and you won't be stressed about this. I'm blabbing right now. Okay, you know what I mean. All right. Any questions so far? Any immediate questions? Do we lose some people? Oh, wow. Everybody stayed all the way through. Wow. Cool. The ground must be connected to the first device. Yeah, so basically, where's my, here's the thing. You see here, I'm just going to, oh, wow. Here. Okay, so here's the diagram indicating the first scenario. And I just indicated this here. Here's the ground. And it says ground slash or bond connected to the first device box. If you do it like this, indicate that, that's perfect. That's fine. Do we need to have EMT between the first? You're welcome. Do we need to have the EMT between the first box from the hot neutral? So are you saying? I think you are asking. Was it Colin? I think you're asking. Do we need to indicate anything here? Is that what you're asking? Yeah. No, not in this case here. I'm not asking you to do that. You don't need to have that. If you do it, that's fine. I didn't ask you to do it, so you don't have to do it. In some other situations, depending on your job, you might be asked to do other things, okay? But in this case, we're good without it. You're welcome. Where are we? Here, now you can see my pretty face. All right. If there is no any other questions, or if you can't think of any immediately, if you have any other questions, some questions might pop to your head after the class is over, by all means send me an email, and I will try to answer all the questions when it comes to this as soon as I can. All right. Okay, 5 minutes to 12. We can wrap up this class, and I will see you next time. Please do not forget that, what is it? We have 2 more days, end of Sunday. Sunday night, 11:59 p.m. That's when test 1 runs out, becomes inactive. Nobody gets any extensions because we have a week to do that, and that's a lot comparing to other courses, from what I hear. So do not forget that test is worth 15% of your whole course. So do not forget to write that test. It's online. You still have 2 days to do it. Tomorrow, wow, 2.5 days. The rest of the day today, all Saturday and all Sunday until 11:59 p.m. So it's almost midnight on Sunday. Okay, guys. Yeah, thank you. Have a good one as well. Happy weekend, and I'll see you when I see you. Thank you very much.